welcome everyone to our High Desert Center for Spiritual Living Sunday celebration service in our beautiful community of Apple Valley. And look at these beautiful floral arrangements back here. Let's give it up. Joyce, Lindsay, just thank you so much. You always provide us such beautiful, beautiful arrangements. So again, thank you so much. Now it's time for hugs and handshakes. Wait, you might be asking, what is this? For those of you that aren't aware of this, during our next song, everyone's welcome to walk around, dance, show us your moves, and you're going to be greeting each other. You're going to exchange a hug or a handshake, and if you don't feel comfortable touching, you can just simply give a namaste. I always like to keep the eye contact too, because, you know, the eyes are the window to the soul. So, in acknowledgement, so you can do that namaste in acknowledgement to the unity and oneness of each individual. With that, have fun and enjoy, and we're going to take it away with Chris and our wonderful choir. Stand up, everyone. Let's go. Thank you so much, Chris and the choir. Let's give it up for Chris and the choir. We are truly one big family. Thank you. We are an all-inclusive center of love where we recognize and celebrate each person as a divine and unique expression of the one spirit in all. Together, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone. We teach and embody the Science of Mind principles to support our core values of love, healing, spiritual growth, oneness, abundance, service, and diversity. Welcome home. Thank you to those of you who are joining us online today, as we are so happy that you get to share in this time together. Say hello and chat in the chat box, and let us know how you're doing today, because we care about you and you're part of our family. Now we'd like to give a special thank you to Marina for her time and service here at HDCSL, Because of our dear friend Marina, we have been able to have our live broadcast the past several years. So please, let's just give her another round of applause. Marina's taken some time off and exploring other areas of her life, and we wish her the best. With that being said, please join me in welcoming Nick Jackson to the High Desert CSL crew. Let's hear it for him. He is now running our audio and visual department. So again, we're so grateful that you're here with us, Nick. Now I invite you to please join me in reading the opening community affirmation. It's in your program on the left side, and it's also up on the monitors as well. I believe in one power, one living spirit, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. I believe that spirit expresses through me and is the unity of all life. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. Is there anyone here joining us for the very first time? If so, please raise your hand so we can welcome you. All right. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here with us today. If you don't already have a welcome packet, you can pick one up at our welcome table, which is right outside the sanctuary doors. Text announcements. We send out our HDCSL affirmations and updates regarding services and any upcoming events through a texting service. If you'd like to join this service and receive our messages, please text JOIN to 833-683-2356. Or dial an inspiration or reminder. We also have a dial-up inspirational line that you can call to hear a recorded message from our practitioner team. You are encouraged to call 760-515-6771. Call anytime, any day or night, and remember to check back often. This message is updated regularly. Now I'd like to draw your attention to this color little insert in your program. Announcements for any upcoming events are in the program each week, along with the High Desert CSL daily affirmations for you to use. So please take it home with you and keep it handy throughout the week, knowing that as you read these affirmations, your friends and family from this spiritual center are always right with you. Current events happening at our center can also be found online through our social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram. We also have our HDCSL monthly calendar found on our website as well. We have a few exciting announcements to highlight today. We'd like to thank Chris and the HDCSL Choir for representing our center as part of the High Desert Interfaith Council this past Thursday, May 4th, for the National Day of Prayer. And thank you for all of you who came out to support. Let's give it up for everybody. Now I'd like to invite Frank to come on up. Come on up, Frank.
Good morning, everybody. How do you like spring? Have you checked the garden lately? The flowers and everything? Yeah. It's wonderful. Yeah, I'd like to thank the crew that came out yesterday to help with weeding. Emily and CJ Caruth, Lori Smith, and Allie, our newest member here. Hi, Allie. She's right back there hiding in her mask. We made another whack at the weeds, and we're still persevering, but we're doing great. The next opportunity will be on the 20th of Saturday. Skip a Saturday and then come out the next Saturday. So your weeds are still waiting with your name tags on. So, all right. And the other thing is, I'd like to make a statement about winter having returned to the sanctuary. The computer that runs the thermostats is dead. We'll have services later on. But we're going to have on the 11th new thermostats installed all the way around the facility here, so it won't be quite so cold. So hang in there and take advantage of hugs and handshakes.
Thank you so much, Frank. Our annual Mother's Day baked goods auction is happening next Sunday on May 14th. Woo! Yes. Right after service. This is one of our big fundraisers that we have had each year, and it's really a lot of fun. This isn't your typical bake sale. This is an auction where each item sells to the highest bidder. And it's not individual cookie, it's the whole dozen. It's the whole pie. It's the whole enchilada. I couldn't help that. It doesn't say it in the script, but I know that. It's the whole lasagna or meatloaf. We even have had pasta, quiches, salsa, fermented goods, and more. So basically, the men bake for Mother's Day, and the women bake for Father's Day. If you have any questions, call the office or see Judy. Hey, Judy, there she is right there. And thank you all for your participation and support. The Rainbow Alliance team is hosting Metaphysical Movie Night the last Thursday of each month. And there's a flyer out on the welcome table. This month, on Thursday the 25th at 6:30 p.m., come watch the movie, Oh God. A reminder will be sent out along with the link to the trailer. The fourth Sunday of every month is a special theme celebration service. The theme for Sunday, the 28th, is Hawaiian. Everybody say aloha. Aloha. You are welcomed and encouraged to wear anything that represents Hawaii to you. Okay. And so don't forget, since it's our first Sunday of the month, you know what that means. This is the first Sunday of the month. It's Birthday Sunday. So who has a birthday anytime in May? Raise your hand. Or let's have you go ahead and stand up. And that includes you online. Okay, awesome. So we want to celebrate you. All right, and we have a lovely gift for you to enjoy. We have some, Lori and Michael will be passing out some gift certificates for your birthday. And, yay, go Chris.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Yes, we certainly are blessed that you were born. We're so grateful. Today after service, everyone is welcome to stay for fellowship and our monthly birthday Sunday potluck. Also today after potluck, we will have our monthly LGBTQ conscious conversations meet up at 12:30. If you have any questions about these events or anything happening here at the center, please stop by the concierge table on Sundays or reach out to the office throughout the week. Thank you. I'd like to invite Chris to have a speak with us today. Yeah, let's hear it from him. We just wanted him to get away from the piano.
So I guess here and there they have various members come up and talk about why they're here and how it happened and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to relate how this happened for me. I had a student in my Tai Chi class named John Copps, and he talked to me about, he came to see my band one night playing. He said, maybe we can get you guys in here to the center where I go. And so basically through him, I came over to see what it was all about here, and they needed somebody to substitute on piano for a couple of weeks, or I forget how many. And so I got the material from Doug at the time, Reverend Doug, and I came and did the gig, and they said, hey, how about sticking around and we'll bring you on board, as the keyboard guy. And I thought that was a pretty good thing because I had a lot of fun. And at the time there was a bass player and a drummer, and it was like a little group, a combo, right? I love that. So I started to become then a permanent keyboard guy here. Of course, then when COVID came, that all went out the window. And but I was very happy that I was the guy selected to come back and be the music person here. And it's been an honor. And since I've been here, I've really felt like this place is so friendly and so family-oriented. And for a while there, we were having all these various ministers and stuff, and finally we got this very fine person right here, Reverend Michael. And I couldn't be happier. I really like being here and being part of this whole scene. And you guys can come and see my scene on the side, because I am in a couple other bands that do play locally once in a while. And it would be great to have you. And I know a lot of you have come and seen us play. It's a lot of fun. Well, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Now I know your story. Are you sticking with it? I'm cracking myself up today. All right, so I'd now like to welcome our practitioner of the stage. Come on up, Miss Lori Smith. Let's hear Lori. Thank you, Deb. So, join with me as we read Dr. Ernest Holmes' promises together there on the front page of your program and on the screen. Here we go. I keep the promise that I have made myself to affirm in this moment that I am abundant, healthy, strong, and happy. I keep the intention to daily speak this truth to my inner soul, telling it that it is wonderful and marvelous, that it is one with the great cause of life, truth, power, and action. I whisper these things into my soul until it breaks forth into songs of joy with the realization of its limitless possibilities. I assure my soul. And now in contemplation, Chris Niles.
I'd like to do a song from Michael Gott called There Is Only Love.
And now join me as Anka joins us in lighting the flames of faith. We perform the Flames of Faith ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. The unity candle represents the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle, acknowledging all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. We light the 10th candle for inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome here. And as Anka lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light names of loved ones, knowing that they have the experience of Spirit's eternal love. And at this time, I invite you to close your eyes as we move within. There is only one power, one ever-present source, limitless, infinite, and this presence is within each and every one of us. It is our very life. It is our very breath. It is the heart of us. We are open and receptive to this power. We allow it to flow from us as we share in hugs and handshakes. We are blessed in many, many ways. As we give of our heart, we give of our time and talent, and we bless each other. Because our love radiates and shines forth. And no matter what we may be going through, that is outside of us. Because deep within is this perfect power and presence that loves us deeply. It is the light that shines forth. And we are so connected. And in this connection, we give great thanks. So grateful for this service and all who make it possible. And for your board of trustees, your practitioners who are here to serve. And let us bless Reverend Michael and his message today. Let it lift you up, bring you to a place of love and light. And I know this to be so, and together we say, and so it is.
And so today, it's a day for me of trusting. Trusting that everything is unfolding in divine right order. And I know sometimes when I want something to manifest in the moment, or what we used to call, I was in the New York area, raised in the New York area, went to school in the New York area, and we called it a New York minute. And the New York minute is faster than you can imagine, faster than a lightning bolt, faster than Superman, faster than anything. And I wanted sometimes, and I still want for things to manifest in the New York minute. But what I'm realizing now, and recognizing right now, I'm in new thought. I'm no longer in the New York minute. I'm no longer in a hurry. And I'm no longer in a rush. Because when I let things unfold in divine right order, oh yeah, I get to appreciate them. I get to appreciate them. I get to be with them. I get to see the everyday miracle in the everyday ordinary. And so today for me is an everyday ordinary miracle of being at High Desert CSL. There are new faces I've met today, new people I've met today, new thoughts I've had today, and new life lessons I've had today. When I got here today, what came to mind was this saying, and I've said it before and I like it. A great master was teaching a student, and the student graduates. He steps up that ladder of consciousness. You know, Scripture talks about Jacob's ladder. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. And what we're talking about here is the ladder of consciousness, a ladder of awareness, a ladder of awakening. And so this great master graduates the student, and the student turns to the master and says, now that I'm enlightened, can I still send emails? And the master says yes, but no attachments. And so I'm trusting Nick is laughing in the booth with me in a healthy and wholesome way, not at the minister, but with the minister, because I got here and I sent Nick and Lori a copy of my slides, my PowerPoints for today, and I forgot to attach them at 9 o'clock last night. So Nick opens the email and he said, well, I got your email, but there are no slides attached. And so what I loved about that moment, we didn't go into panic. If there are slides, okay. If there aren't slides, okay. It's okay the way it's unfolding. And for myself, it wasn't, oh my gosh, how do we make this work? Oh, there's got to be a way to make it work. And we relaxed into it, and I went back into my office, and I thought, wait a minute, maybe we can get them on Brandy's computer, because she's on 365 Microsoft. And we probably could, but I thought, wait a minute, I might have Microsoft 365 on my phone, and I did. And I was able to go into my files in my computer at home, which are now in the cloud, and call up the file and get the slides and email them to Nick. And so the gift for me was, I did not go into panic. I stayed present. And that's the gift of this teaching. Can we stay present with that gift of love, which is eternal? And I began to question, why do I trust Microsoft Office 365 more than I trust Spirit at times? Why do I trust Amazon to deliver on time? Because they're always on time. Now they're showing up ahead of time, always at my door, always perfect, always sending me a note. Did you get your package? Were you happy with your package? Always checking in, always checking in. And I question that at times, and I'm coming into that moment where I'm being in the presence of Spirit, and it's showing up in more relaxation, more revelation, and more recognition of the importance of being present with the people we're with. Not getting lost in the task that we're doing, but being present with the people we're with. And it showed up with Judy in the office. After Microsoft Office, then there's the real office. And I was Xeroxing some flyers for the table, and they were coming out of our new printer, which we are all learning to use. And they were printing, and they were coming out beautifully, and they were falling one by one on the floor. Judy doesn't say anything. She just reaches over and pulls out the paper tray, the extended paper tray, which I hadn't pulled out. And so that's how this works. Beyond communication, just, oh, you're doing it wrong, all you need to do is, she just pulled out the paper tray. She just showed up and pulled out the paper tray. And I was bending down thinking on the floor, and it was perfect. They stopped falling on the floor. And so I thought, when I went back to my office, this is the way this stuff works. If we can relax and be present, if we can relax and know it's perfect, when the slides don't show up, when the paper falls on the floor, when the thermostat in the sanctuary is not cooperating, it's all perfect. It's all perfect. None of the conditions of life matter. None of the conditions of life matter. And we can realize that what matters is how we hang with each other, and how we be with each other, and how we speak to each other, and how we work together. And so, I'm going to open with this. We're in a sanctuary. It's a noisy world. It's a busy world. And that's okay. But the world of science of mind, and the world of our soul, and the world of our heart, and the world of love is never in a hurry. And it's never in a worry. It's just in that wonder of being presence in a peaceful, calm, and loving space. And so I read this today, and it's from Brene Brown. I see people smiling. You say Brene Brown and they smile. Someday they will say Michael Curcuru and people smile. But today it's Brene Brown's day. She's written like 7 New York Times bestsellers, millions of copies sold. So today I'll give it up to Brene Brown. And I will hold the intention that someday this will quote Michael Curcuru and people will smile. So I'm holding that intention, and we know that intentions are always honored, right? And I like to see the word intention as being in the tense of the moment. So we like to play with words. We like to do wordsmiths. What is intention? It's being in the tense of the moment. And that's the present tense. And that's the only place we live and flourish and create and love, in the present tense. So intention to me is being in the tense of the motion of the moment. Not in the past tense of held energy. Not in the future tense of energy that is not yet focused, but in the intention of the present moment and the present motion. And when that's love, and when that's peace, and when that's calm, and when that's oneness, then we create a space of sanctuary. And it's always ours to create. And so Brene Brown says this: you deserve to be in an environment and environments that bring out the softness in you, not the survival in you. And so know this teaching in Ernest Holmes is about bringing out our softness, bringing out our quietness, bringing out our oneness, and bringing out that truth that love is all there is. Erich Fromm says this, and he was a psychologist, and he believed that humankind could develop a psychologically balanced, sane society. Now, he came out of Germany in the 40s, and he saw societies that kind of had rough times. And he spent his life teaching this philosophy that we can have a sane and balanced society when we have a sane and balanced mentality within ourselves, and that our thoughts create our minds. And this is from Dr. Joe Hooper, who I spent many years with as a practitioner and then ministerial training. And he said, he spoke about our thoughtmosphere. And he said that our thoughtmosphere creates our atmosphere, and that our atmosphere creates our environment. And so our thoughtmosphere is our mind. And our thoughts create that energy of our mind, that intention of our mind, that intense motion of our mind, which means being in the tense of the present moment in our mind. And when we're there, we're totally aligned. We're totally aligned in the present moment. And that's where all the power is. That's where the power always will be. And so Erich Fromm says this about our thoughtmosphere that creates our atmosphere, that creates our environment. And it's never our environment that creates our atmosphere or our thougmosphere. It's our thoughtmosphere that creates our atmosphere of peace, harmony, and love that creates our environment. It is not our environment. It is not our conditions. It is not the collective consciousness of the world that creates our reality. We create our own reality. We create our own reality. And so Erich Fromm says, let your mind start a journey. And so I invite each and all of us today to start the journey that you choose to be on. It's not my journey. It's not Chris's journey. And what a wonderful talk. I did not know that you came as a substitute and then stayed. So the new people who are trying us out, give us 2 or 3 times, hang around and hopefully this will work for you as well. But let your mind, start a journey through a strange new world. Leave all thoughts of the world you knew before you came in here today. Leave them behind. And let your soul take you where you truly long to be. Brene Brown talks about where we long to be as our belonging. As our belonging. What is my longing? My longing is my belonging. Where do I belong? Where do I belong? And so I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and let your spirit start to soar. Just for a moment. Let spirit take you on a journey. Let your spirits start to soar. And I invite you today in this sanctuary, in this moment, in the intention, in the intense motion of this present moment, to live as you've never lived before. Henry David Thoreau says, if a man does not keep pace with his companion, perhaps it's because he hears a different drummer. I had that poster on my bedroom wall from 4th grade through high school. I would come back and visit 10 years after I was in college, and 20 and 30 years, and that poster was on my bedroom wall. My parents never took it down. My dad wanted to. He was West Point. He didn't like that about marching to a different drummer. You're supposed to march in formation at West Point. Marching the quad. The number of times I watched them march the quad at West Point, and I didn't want to march in the quad. I wanted to march in the quantum. Thank you, Dad. And so I know he's growing with me. I know he's growing with me right here and right now. And so when I was writing this, the song that came to mind for me is The Wind Beneath My Wings. And I like Bette Midler's version. There are a lot of versions. But I went to, we're specific in this teaching or we're not. Some people say, be specific with your intention. I want exactly this. But other people say, no, be non-specific and let Spirit bring something even greater to you. Even greater to you. And you know what? Pray the way that feels right to you. Pray the way that feels right to you. What does it feel like? Specific feels good. No, non-specific feels good. Just be present with what feels right. And so these were the lyrics that I chose to be specific with. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. Ooh. I can fly higher than an eagle because you are the wind beneath my wings. And the wind beneath my wings right now, and they're my choice to spread them. I can keep my wings right here. Most people keep their wings right here. My choice to do this. My choice. My choice to be grounded and my choice to soar. And so the wings beneath my wing, wings, the wind beneath my wings are the wind of love, the wings of love. And that wind of love beneath my wings is the love of my faith, the love of this faith and the love of this teaching. It's the love of my family members who've gone on, but I felt my dad smiling down today. Getting that you don't have to walk the quad your whole life. You can walk in the quantum because he's in the quantum now, so I think we're walking the quad and the quantum is one, right? That's the teaching. The quad and the quantum become one. The Father and the Son become one. The disagreements fall away. The disharmony falls away. And what I got in the past few weeks, and I loved it, and we shared it in a grief group, and boy, did we have a grief group Thursday. Boy, did we have a grief group. Were we present? And I got for my family this jargon that we're dysfunctional. I came from a dysfunctional family. Knock it off. I don't need a psychiatrist or anybody to tell me what my family was. My family was dynamic. We were absolutely dynamic. Everybody had strengths. Everybody had power. And sometimes they were conflicting. And on this life plane, we did not always have the most harmonious Thanksgivings and Christmases. But you know what? Yeah, I know, right? Some of your family was not dysfunctional. They were dynamic. And when we can accept that and say, you're not dysfunctional, you're dynamic. Let's knock off this jargon of the world and let's talk about the truth. This is a dynamic teaching. This is a dynamic center. You are living a dynamic life, and what is ours to do is to be present and to work with that. And so our life becomes dynamic when we become aware that love is the wind beneath my wings. And I invite each of us right now to spread your wings. Don't hit the person next to you. Spread your wings. Spread your wings. And just know that the love of this center and the love of this teaching and the love of the universe and the love of Christ consciousness and the love of Ernest Holmes is the wind beneath your wings. And I invite us to soar today. So our opening story, which relates to our theme, and our theme is being comfortable in our own wings. It's one thing to open them, and it's another to be comfortable. And this teaching and this life experience is not about being comfortable in your own skin. It is not about spending your whole life being comfortable in your own skin. It's about being comfortable in your own wings. And our Science of Mind principle today, we always like to focus on what principle is freedom. That's one of our 10 principles, is freedom. The freedom to soar, the freedom to fly, the freedom to know that we're okay wherever we are. And Ernest Holmes says this: we are free to choose and to create. And we create with the intention, the intense motion of the moment, which is the presence of love that moves in, as, and through us. Today's talk is about learning to fly. It's about learning to defy gravity. It's about learning that we have wings. We have always had wings. We always will have wings. And that love is the wind beneath our wings that always carries us to the far shore of the unknown horizon of a greater good waiting to be. So the opening story about a young boy in a village, and he's afraid to let go of everything he's known, to grow and to expand. And so the village says to him, come to the edge, and they're on the edge of the cliff. And they say, come to the edge. And that can be the edge of the known, the edge of our belief about healing, the edge of our belief about prosperity, the edge of our belief about creativity, and goodness gracious, the edge of our belief about spirit. You know, there are no edges in spirit. We just put them there. There are no edges in spirit. It's a very welcoming place. Come to the edge, they said, I'm afraid. He said, come to the edge. He said, I'm afraid. Then he came to the edge. He came to the edge. He came to the edge. And he had to do that on his own. He had to bring the courage forth in himself to come to the edge. And then his village pushed him over. And as he's falling and tumbling and turning and twisting and going, oh my gosh, what did my village do to me? I'm falling. I'm going to hit the ground. And as he came, he looked, after looking over, and they pushed him somewhere between the falling and the tumbling and the turmoil. He came to find he had wings, and that there was a wind beneath his wings as he fell into this canyon, a wind that always was, always will be, and is right here and now. And that's the wind of Spirit's breath of love's presence. The wind of Spirit's breath of love's presence. The wind of Spirit's breath of love's presence. That wind of Spirit's breath is always with me. It was with me when I was running through sprinklers, 3 years old, at my grandmother's house in Michigan, the only time I met her. And it was water rationing. And it was not her day. The odd need and the odd side got to water one day, and the even side got to water. It was the odd side of the numbers to water that day. She was even, you couldn't water. My parents, they were all in there eating lunch, and I ran out and turned the sprinkler on because it was a warm day, and I loved running through the sprinkler. And my grandmother came out and said, no, it's not our day. You have to understand, it's not our day. And then she went back in, and then I turned it back out, and then she came back in, and then this went on for about 4 or 5 times. And she was so kind. And she was such a loving presence. And she didn't get annoyed about what the neighbors would think, or if she'd get a fine for the water being on because her 3-year-old grandson wanted to play in the water. I did not know at the time that she was dying of terminal cancer, and the reason we'd driven from Connecticut to Michigan, a very long drive, was it was the last time my dad and my mom got to see her. It was the only time I met her. But I didn't know that she held that loving presence 8 weeks before she made her transition, going through that experience. But that experience did not change the truth of who she was. It did not change the truth that she had time to leave the table where she prepared dinner, to spend time with her grandson, and not to criticize, but to be present. Not to be in conflict with, but to be at peace with. And to be at one in that consciousness of love is all there is. It is 70 years later, 68 years later, and what I remember, not that she scolded me, not that she made me wrong, not that she worried about what the neighbors thought, what I remember is that breath of Spirit's presence that was breathing in as and through her in her last 8 weeks on this physical plane. And you know, there's no beginning, there's no end. Our first breath of life in the physical form just leads us to the first breath of Spirit's life in the non-physical form. It's all one breath of life. And when we're singing happy birthday, something I like to say, you know, happy birthday means there's a day we're born and probably a day we die, but that's not the truth in our teaching. Happy birthday, I like to sing Happy Continuation Day. Happy Continuation Day to you. Happy Continuation Day to you. Happy Continuation Day. Happy Continuation Day. Happy Continuation Day to you. Yeah. It's always about continuation and graduation and evolution. And so those are moments that took my breath away as a child. Another one that took my breath away as a child was my Ricky Red Racer wagon. Anyway, today's affirmation, let's say this together. I'll say it first, then I invite us to say it together 3 times. Love is the wind beneath my wings. Now spread your wings and own this. Love is the wind beneath my wings. I heard it here. Let's hear downtown Victorville. Love is the wind beneath my wings, and let them hear this downtown London. Love is the wind beneath my wings, and so it is. So it is. Let's give voice to this teaching. Yeah, let's give voice to this energy. So, one thing about this energy. Once you set the wheels of change in motion, the best thing to do is to hang on for the ride and learn to enjoy the ride, because once you set that energy in motion, it is not going to slow down, it is not going to stop, it is not going to wait for you to catch up, it's going to carry you on that breath of Spirit's presence. So get your wings out, because this energy is incredible, this energy is a current, this energy is a consciousness of flow and move and motion. And what is ours to do is to say yes. 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 Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm good with the yes. So, there was a time that I had this red Razor wagon. It was rusty because it was my oldest brother, Steve, who was 13. I got the hand-me-downs, and it went through my middle brother, Kevin, before it got to me. And that's okay. That's okay. And I called it Ricky. And I took that wagon everywhere, and I dragged that wagon. And one day I went on this quest to find out something. I just wanted to adventure beyond my neighborhood. There were rules. You can't go beyond. We were on Long Hill Drive in New Jersey. And you couldn't go below the bottom of the hill and go left or right, or the top of the hill and go left or right. You had to stay on that long hill where my mom could look out and see I was okay. Well, one day I wanted to go left or right. And I went left. And I wanted an adventure, and I didn't know what I was adventuring into. But I knew I couldn't see the familiar behind me anymore. I couldn't see my home behind me anymore. And it was a little scary when I looked back, so I looked ahead. And in that very moment, I had one of those aha moments that I was never alone. I was never alone. I was venturing to new neighborhoods and seeing new houses, and new dogs were barking at me, and new kids were riding their bikes that they never met before. And I kept venturing, and it wasn't until recently that I realized that in my own way, I was on a quest for God. Probably every adventure each one of us had is that we were on a quest for God. And when I came back from, and when I look back on that time, that Ricky racer wagon has so rusted away, has so fallen away from the form, that it went back to the formless of its original table of elements, I don't know, iron or rust or whatever. But all form falls away. Our physical form falls away. Our thought forms fall away. Everything falls away. That fell away and went back to the formless from which it came, and that's our teaching. That's our deed. Energy comes down and manifests into the physical, and then the physical goes back up and manifests into the non-physical and comes back down. It's circulation. And you know, we're doing that at the center. We're doing that at this center. How do we honor this teaching? How do we honor this every day? How do we make this in our work? And Ernst Holmes says, make this work in your life. Make it show up in your life. He said, I'd rather have one person who lives this truth, these truths, these principles, than 1,000 people who know them in their head. And so an example of how it's working at this center. 2 weeks ago, we come in, and there's a little flood in the kitchen, the dishwasher's not working, the sink is backed up, and there was no choice here. The choiceless choice of spirit. When we choose, it's us. I see Pat smiling. He knows where it's going because he was in on the flood. He was part of the flood, not putting it on him, but he was part of the flood experience. And what needed to be done, not needed to be done, the opportunity in the moment, the gift in the moment, was to handle this in the moment and move forward. Not repair a 13, 15-year-old dishwasher, not go, oh my God, the flood's taking over the world, what are we going to do? What needed to be done in that moment was to have some people who were in the intention, in the intense motion of the present moment, in the intense motion of the present moment of love's presence, of Spirit's vision, of bounty and beauty. Always expanding, and in that moment, Judy stepped up, and Susie stepped up, and we didn't need a board meeting, and we didn't need a reg, and they're good. We got the boards. It's important, to follow things, but sometimes you just act in the present moment. And Susie stepped up, and Judy stepped up and said, we're going to buy a new dishwasher. Each of us, not one, we had one, now we have two. And why do we have two? And here's the reason. Here's the expansion. Let's take a look at what's happening in the physical form. We have two because a few weeks ago, I don't know the date, a month or two ago, this center decided to be eco-friendly and take care of our planet, which is part of our teaching. And we decided not to use plastic and paper cups and paper spoons, and they're really easy to use. But they're not really good for the planet. And there was a consciousness at this center to demonstrate this teaching by not using plastic and paper, and to go to dishes and dishwashers that clean them and use the dishes over, and it's more eco-friendly. And so that's how that moment aligned. And Susie and Judy, we thank you for stepping up in the consciousness of the moment. This is what is mine to do in the moment. This is what will serve the center. This is what will serve this teaching. And this is what will serve this planet. That's being in the intention in the moment. That's being in the intense moment of the present moment of the motion of this energy that carries us on. And here's what Howard Thurman says. And what we're talking about, what Susie and Judy stepped up to, and everyone at the center steps up to, and I know each of you in your life is stepping up to, and I ask you to step up to a higher level. Climb Jacob's ladder, a higher level, one step higher today, one step higher today, one step higher today. It will change the world. And so when we step up into our greatness, remember this, it doesn't matter how late in the day it is. It is never too late in the day to find the great in yourself. It is never too late in the day to find the great in yourself. Never too late in the day to find the great. Howard Herman says this, of finding the great, of the wind beneath our wings, of staying in the intention of the present moment, in the intense present energy of that motion of love, that is the wind beneath our wings. Howard Thurman says this, and you got to get this. No, you don't got to get it. But I invite you to be open to receiving this. I was looking for a quote to end this talk. And I was going to my Ernest Holmes book upstairs, big bookcase, and I was going for it because I knew there'd be a quote on this. As I go upstairs, our central air kicks in, wind comes, no kidding, wind comes out of the duct. A piece of paper that had been on top of this bookcase for 3 years because I could write my name in the dust on the paper. Literally, air conditioning comes on my wall. This piece of paper flaps its wings and goes aloft and soars, comes down to the floor and lands. I bend down and pick it up, and it's the exact quote that I wanted and the stuff that I would never have found if I used a Google search. You don't have to use Google search to find it out. You just have to search the experience you're in. You just have to feel the emotion you're in. And you just have to be present with the moment and open your wings and buy a dishwasher or be open to Spirit giving you a quote. Open your wings. And so Howard Thurman says this. He calls it the sound of genius, and I call that the wind beneath our wings. And remember, I like to say he calls it the sound of genius. That genius is the genie in us. He says this, there is something in every one of us that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in us. And if you cannot hear the sound of the genuine, the sound of authenticity, the sound of originality, you will never find what it is that you are looking for, no matter how far I go in my Ricky Red Racer wagon. If I couldn't hear that voice within, it didn't matter how far I traveled without. If I can't hear that voice within, it will never matter how far I travel in the Word without. If I can't hear that inner voice within, it will never matter how far I travel in the world without. And he says, if you hear it and you do not follow that inner voice, that wind beneath our wings, that intention in the present moment, it is better that you had never been born. Because all of your life you will spend, and all of your days you will spend, at the ends of the strings that somebody else is pulling. He closes by saying, if I hear the sound of the genuine in me, and you hear the sound of the genuine in you, then the wall that separates and divides us, poof, disappears. And we will become one, because the sound of the genuine makes the same music. One song. And that song for me today was The Wind Beneath My Wings. That song was the being in the intention of the present moment, that motion of the present moment. And so Martin Luther King says this. Martin Luther King says this. If you can't fly, and I'll add this, in the moment, if you can't fly in the moment, and if you can't run, then walk. And if you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you have to do, keep moving forward. Keep saying yes. Keep letting the kite of your dreams carry into the flight of that wind beneath your wings, which is that of Spirit's presence. Ernest Holmes says this, we must have, I don't know about must, I don't like must, but I'm not going to rewrite Ernest right here now. I'm living in the moment, but we'll stick with Ernest for now. We must have a rebirth. We must have a rebirth of our spiritual truth. We must be born out of the belief in externalities into the belief of our inner realities, and out of the belief that we are separate from Spirit, and into the belief that we are part of a unitary wholeness. I call that universal unity. And Ernest says this, the greatest gift life could have made to us is yourself. You're it. Your spontaneous, self-choosing center in life, in the great drama of being, and the certainty for each of us is external expansion. You could not ask for anything more, and nothing more could have been given to you than Spirit's breath of the wind beneath our wings, that Spirit breath of love eternal that asked but one thing of us, that we spread our wings and soar. That we spread our wings and soar. That we spread our wings and soar. And you know what? It's better when we soar together. It's better when we soar together. So I see people flapping their wings, so I invite us to flap our wings and soar together on that. Now we're creating our own wind and our own breath. And so today I invite you to take away the knowing that you have wings. You have always had wings. You will always have wings. And what is yours to do is to brush them off and take flight like that young boy who came to the edge. So today I hope in some way you came to the edge. I hope you came to the edge of consciousness beyond what you know, the edge of your conditions, the edge of your beliefs, and the edge of what's possible. And we move beyond that edge, and we stay in the intention, the intense motion of that present moment, in the intense knowing this love is the wind beneath our wings, then a world that works for everyone is not yesterday, is not tomorrow, is right here and now, today. And so I invite us to say together, love is the wind beneath my wings. Thank you. Be well. Stay conscious. Namaste.
Oh, we'd like to have the choir come up, and Michael's going to join us singing on this one. Okay, I wrote this one too. This is called You're in Alignment Now. You have a
so much. This is our giving time, so please take a moment to join me in appreciation for this beautiful community and our philosophy. We know we live in an abundant universe. There is always more than enough to share and spare. We use this time to open the flow of abundance and circulate that energy with gratitude and love. Because we appreciate you and your contributions, we make it easy for you to give. In addition to placing your offering in the baskets today, there are various ways that you can contribute to our center. You can use the Banco app on your smartphone or tablet. You can also visit our website at www.hi-desertcsl.org to make a donation. Select the donate button. Or you may drop off your donation throughout the week and also send it in by mail. We appreciate you for supporting this center. Because of you, because of all of you, our service and this beautiful experience together continues to be possible. Thank you so much. Now I invite the ushers to come forward, and we thank you for your service today. Thank you. Please join me in reading aloud our Declaration of Affirmative Giving, located inside your program on the left side and also on our monitors. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful.
Sometimes you just want to stay in the silence of the music here, in the silence, the beautiful silence and the beautiful presence that that song created energetically. And so what I'm knowing is today a great alignment occurred in each and every person's heart here today. And that alignment is that knowing in the present moment is where we share our gifts. We don't share our gifts in the past. We don't share our gifts in the future. We share the gift of our authentic self, our giving self, our bountiful self, our spiritual self in the here and now of this moment. And I am so grateful on behalf of the center, on behalf of the board of directors, on behalf of our teams. We have so many teams. Come join a team. come join a team at HDCSL. I know that this offering that has been given to the center, each person spread their wings of love. Each person spread their wings of consciousness, and each person spread their wings of knowing that there is always enough and more than enough, and that this center is being divinely guided. It's being divinely invited to be aware of exactly the right place and the right time and the right people to gift your generous offering of love with. We will share this love offering which you have made. We'll share this love of who you are with those who are seeking love right now. And this center will be a beacon of that love energy, will be a brightness of that love energy, will be a oneness of that love energy. This center will be the energy that reminds people that they have wings, and all they have to do is spread their wings and fly and soar to new heights of consciousness and awareness and possibilities. And so our gifts take flight today. Our grace takes flight today. Our goodness takes flight today. And our gratitude takes flight today. And together I invite us to say, and so it is.
Our practitioner team is here to serve you. Practitioners, could you please stand up where you are? Great, thank you. The prayer request box is in the garden room under the picture of our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. Our practitioners' phone numbers are on the back side of your program. Please reach out to one of our experienced licensed practitioners for prayer, especially for going through a challenge in your life. They are here to know the truth for you and are available after service for spiritual support if you need prayer. Thank you, practitioners. You may be seated. Thank you to those who have joined us in person today, and thank you to those of you who are watching us online, or watching us live now, or on the playback. We will see you next Sunday, May 14th, for another wonderful celebration service with Reverend David Allen Cruz, and also our Mother's Day auction. And now, let's all make a circle and close out this wonderful service with a peace song. Thank you.